Hello team. In this video we're going to talk about levels of automation. So there are many classifications for levels of automation, but one that is pertinent considers increasing levels of sophistication and complexity of the automation procedures. At the lowest level of this classification, we have automation of deployment and configuration tasks. And this is an absolute must for cloud computing and extremely useful for enterprises and startups. At this level, we are talking about tools that aid in deploying applications and servers and configuring them, and also keeping software up to date. Examples include tools such as Red Hat's Ansible, Chef, Puppet, which manage Linux installations, and there are also other tools that work in different environments. For example, OpenStack and CloudStack manage clusters, so they create and destroy virtual machines, virtual disks, for example. On the second layer of automation, we have automation of monitoring and measurement. So now that the first layer gets everything working, we need to monitor and see what's going on in our infrastructure. For example, to detect failures and take action when something goes wrong. And there are offerings to automate the monitoring and measurement and triggering of alarms in real deployments. For example, the security incident we had in our cluster was automatically detected by a monitoring tool that Duke uses. On the third layer, we can automate the estimation of trends and prediction of what's going to happen in the near future to take action in advance. For example, we can predict that a device is going to fail because it's behaving strangely, or we can predict that the cloud provider should buy additional resources of a given type because demand is increasing for that resource. So we can automate these analyses and make management of the whole infrastructure easier. So an example here is detecting when a provider should buy additional capacity, and if it needs to buy additional capacity, which resources will be in high demand. The fourth layer of automation is root cause analysis, which is identifying the cause of a problem in our infrastructure. So after we have monitoring and we can detect failures, we might want to know what's going on. And this is root cause analysis. Examples include, say, if a customer application can't communicate with the database, what's the cause of the problem? So it may be a network failure, a disk failure, a misconfiguration on the network, the storage, or the applications. So there are usually many explanations for an observation, like customer can't access the database, and then identifying exactly what's going on usually requires additional work to analyze the available data and identify the exact root cause. And finally, at the fifth layer, we can automate troubleshooting of failures. So we can detect failures on the second layer. On the fourth layer, we can know what is the cause of the failures. And at the fifth layer, we can also automate the troubleshooting of the failure. So this is usually hard to do because each failure, requires a different fix. But depending on the context, we can automate the troubleshooting. In particular, it's usual in computer networks to partially troubleshoot a failure. So we're going to mask its impact by routing around a network failure until an operator, for example, replaces the failed device or fixes the routing issue. And it's increasingly common for the upper three levels in this classification to be performed or use assistance of statistical methods or artificial intelligence. And this is because there's usually a lot of information to go through when doing root cause analysis and multiple alternatives to consider when troubleshooting a failure, and artificial intelligence can help us with that.